As always, Ted kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
OU track and field. Been awesome. They've done a great job. The NCAA championships have been going on, and both the men and the women have had some unbelievable performances and really good team finishes. The women had a really nice finish. Pippi Lotta Enoch won the heptathlon. Incredible. National champion in the heptathlon for the University of Oklahoma. A great performance from her. Other great performances from the women team. But the men, Gabe, they finished in sixth place. It's the best finish the University of Oklahoma has had in 28 years and is the second best performance that they've ever had. They took first and second in the triple jump, BJ Green and Floyd Whitaker. And then how about this? Ralford Mullings, NCAA meet record in the disc, 227 feet, 4 inches, national champion. And it is the second best performance all time in the NCAA championships. How about that? Incredible.
Throw that
In
thing, man.
NCAA, not just it was a best performance in the NCAA championships, second best performance all time. Incredible.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Track and field was one of those things when when the SEC move was announced, it's like, oh, how are we going to do? It's a big deal in the SEC. Well, turns out we're just fine. How about that?
Doing really well. Really well. I love that. Second best finish ever, sixth. And I think, they have really ascended the last 2 or 3 years. And I expect that to continue to get better.
You you
Good job.
you read some listeners' minds. The podcast Twitter got a couple we got tagged in a couple things like, hey, give track and field a shout out. They did some really good things this weekend. Look at you.
Heck
You
yeah.
know what the people want, man.
Know what they want. And it was cool to see it. I'm glad that they got their day in the sun. Bunch of really good performances out there. I just listed a couple of them. There's several on both the men's and the women's side.
All
Check them
right,
out.
quiz time.
Okay.
You mentioned heptathlon.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the 7 disciplines of the heptathlon?
You've got long jump. You've got javelin. You've got, I know I think they do the 100. 100's not in there.
One a variation of the 100 is in here.
The hurdles.
Correct. I'm giving it to you.
I think they do the 800.
Correct.
Uh, they finish with is it a mile run? 1,600 meters.
800.
They finish with the 8. Okay. Um, and then I think do they do pole vault? And they don't do pole vault? There's
This
one
is
more.
this is the AI overview, so I'm hoping it's right. You never know.
Okay.
They're still working through some of those
Sure,
things.
it's right. You got one more. They throw the shot or the disc too.
Shot.
Shot. Yeah.
So 100-meter hurdles, high jump, shot put, 200-meter, long jump, javelin throw, and the 800-meter.
Okay.
You don't do it all in one day, by the way. You do it over
Right.
2 days.
Over 2 days. Grueling.
That sounds terrible.
And well, the worst part, I think that it's the men that end with the mile run. And
Ooh,
they are all just like collapsing over the line.
that's awesome. All right, whoever's your loser of the weekend.
Well, I thought we'd check in on the Rockies. Still,
Our favorite baseball team.
yeah, still historically on track for the worst season since 1899. They're currently 13 and 57, just brutally bad. And Kevin Durant's on the move. Where you think he's going to end up?
I first of all, don't you love the These are the three destinations player X would like to go if he were traded. Reports. Aren't those just fantastic?
Right.
I I don't want Durant in the West. I don't want him in San Antonio. I don't want him in Houston. Hit the three. Shams put it out that the three places, three destinations he wants to be traded are the Heat, the Spurs, and the Rockets. I want him to go to Miami. We got enough. We got
The
enough to
West
deal with
is
in the West.
it's stupid.
Now the argument could be made. If you look at Durant's last several stops, he's kind of. It's not like the franchises he's gone to have been super successful.
Which I hate. I mean, it's one of the things of
So maybe we want him to go to San Antonio and sabotage the Spurs.
yeah. Don't you hate though that so many players move around to so many different places?
It
I
I think Durant's career, this may say sound a little crazy. It feels like for his talent and his ability, just how good he is at basketball, his career's kind of gone. This is like the worst version it could have been. Is that dramatic?
no,
You know what I mean?
I
Like
don't think
it
so.
in the best version, he stays in Oklahoma City his whole career. They win multiple titles. They build a statue out front of him in front of the stadium.
Mhm.
Now, even if it would have just been the OKC piece and then the Warriors piece, who knows what the Warriors would have been able to accomplish if he
Yeah.
just would have remained happy there, you know?
Yep.
But then it's been, remember when he was in Brooklyn? That
Yeah,
happened.
I know. He went from a player that was impossible to dislike at Oklahoma City to a guy that I don't know how much he was liked across the NBA. Respected, obviously, but I just hate the trajectory that it ended up having for him, just as far as like with the fans. You know,
That's
his story was like so awesome early on, and
he,
I don't
he
know.
was I think it's fair to say early in his career, like as the Thunder ramped up, he was one of the most well-liked players in the NBA from a fan standpoint. Just like, hey, Durant kind of keeps to himself. He just goes out there and gets buckets. He's in Oklahoma City, leading this franchise to great things. And then he's been a different person ever since the backlash of the Warriors decision.
He's been a different person ever since someone convinced him to switch management companies, and they started off by KD is not nice.
That did not go well.
No.
But he's one of the best basketball players ever.
Hmm.
I don't think that's debatable. What do you want to say? Top 20, top 15, top 12? There's a discussion to be had there. He's maybe the purest scoring forward ever. And people like he's most well known for being a troll on Twitter.
Right. Yeah. It's been
Like,
strange,
you
man.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's strange. The dude is we have witnessed and like I've witnessed his entire career. He's one of the best basketball players ever, and the conversation about him just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't fit that.
It's not about his game. It
It's really
hasn't been
not.
about his game in a long time.
People are like, oh, those aren't real titles. Those are fake titles. I think that's ridiculous, especially with how good he was when they won those titles.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's really strange that you can be that good at basketball and people can talk about him the way they talk about him.
And you just kind of and maybe this will change, but it feels like you kind of get lost to history when you don't necessarily have a home or a team to some degree, you know? And maybe that's just because that's how it was in the sport for so long. and maybe that won't be the case as we now look back at people's careers, but I don't know, it's been strange for him. But all that said, I settled on loser of the week. Dwight Howard and Lance Stephenson getting in a fight in the Big Three tournament. What are we doing, guys?
Lance
What are we doing?
Stevenson, this is a true story. Lance Stevenson, I mentioned something about us playing AAU basketball against each other. And he's the only guy who I've ever said anything to during one of the Thunder games that has tried to come into the stands and fight me. Ref had to get in between us. Like he was coming and I was ready. I was still playing. I was big, dude. This wasn't going to be a basketball fight. He was about to have problems. We're going straight to the legs, getting straight to the ground, Ted.
I like it. Put it in
But
the
it
pain
was
cave.
but it was one of those things where he's like that. Like he was
Yep.
literally going to come into the stands and fight me.
Yep.
Over me telling him that we beat him in an AU basketball game when we were like 12. Because we're the same age. So it's just he's got a few screw loose. Hey, Dwight Howard got him with that little hip toss though. That was nice.
Oh yeah, I was wondering, has Dwight Howard been doing some off-season jujitsu or something, double underhooks?
It looked like it.
Pretty good.
The technique was solid for a guy that tall. That was good
Yeah.
execution.
But what are we doing? It's the Big Three, guys. Come on. It's already enough that you're playing in that league. Which, I think I actually think it's a good thing for guys to do and still have some visibility or whatever, but well, it's an easier way for some fans to go see some of those great players play. But it's like an all-time low to get kicked out of a Big Three game, basically just as it's starting.
It brought a lot of attention to the Big Three, though. How many people knew that the
Oh,
Big Three was happening right now?
hey guys, let's generate a little bit of we need some momentum here throughout the summer. NBA's wrapping up. Give us a little something that's going to make the rounds. Okay,
Mm,
I like that.
yeah. Conspiracy theorist over here.
I like it.
Was
It's
it
true though.
was it was it scripted like WWE style? Like, hey guys, at the 6 minute mark, I need you to get into it, and then it's gonna hit social media and it's gonna be really good for us.
Well, here's the thing.
We need impressions.
Here's the deal. When you make $50 million a year in basketball and you throw punches and get suspended for 10 games, that is a painful 10-game suspension. I don't know what the math is on that, but that stings. So it stands to reason there's a bunch of pushing matches these days instead of guys throwing haymakers, because you're missing out on a bunch of big game checks. Um,
That would be, you said 50 million.
yeah,
So you're making just under $610,000 a game in the regular season. So if
you
you
miss
took
10
a
games, that's $6 million.
$6.1 million roughly, if you're going to take a 10-game suspension, yeah, no, don't want to do that.
Stings the bottom line. It's a little bit different in the Big Three, though, right? So you have to wonder if these guys really hate each other, how are there not punches thrown? Because there's really no harm, no foul. Okay, you get kicked out of a game, right? Why not? Maybe they're used to fighting as much as they can without throwing punches, and it stayed that way. It's a good look that they weren't. So
If I was the Big Three, I would put a fighting incentive in the contract.
it's basically just like hockey. You just have
Yeah.
to play 3-on-2 for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like one time a game you can call a guy out. You guys stand there, you go at it for 15 seconds or something, just
I like
build
it.
it into the rules of the league.
I like it.
It would make people watch more. I've never once watched the Big Three. If all of a sudden you said, hey, guys, fight each other in this league, like
Just
really fight each other, like get in a circle, like hockey style, but they're not on skates. So it's a little better. I'd be like, yeah, I'd probably watch some of that then.
there's a really strong chance that you get to go see two ex superstars throw punches at each other. You probably fill arenas.
You might. It's what just something to think about, Big Three. Something to think about.
Let's go, Cube. Think about it.
Come on, Ice Cube. Just think about it. That's all we're saying. All right, let's get to my winner and loser of the weekend. But first, three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. All right, for my winner of the weekend, thought about going with Caitlin Clark. She's back, Ted.
Woo. I guess so. What, like 6 threes in the first half?
That was impressive. She did like the last, 5 games, 3 weeks with that quad.
Yeah.
Came back on Saturday night against the undefeated New York Liberty, and well, they're not undefeated anymore.
No.
32-8-9 for Caitlin Clark.
Crazy.
My analysis: she's very good at basketball.
I'll agree on that.
Yeah.
I'll agree on
Right?
that.
Right?
Pretty impressive. I still think her passing is exceptional and fun to watch.
They play in the same arena as the Pacers do, and they sell it out.
Well, they've been. Was she at game 3? She's been in a bunch of. Yeah.
Dang it. But hey.
What'd you think of the Dumb and Dumber look down there on the court?
I think it would really stink to spend that amount of money on those tickets, dressed like that, and then you have your team lose. I think that'd be a tough night. Walking to the car in that outfit would be a tough one.
That is so funny.
It was the broadcast refused to ever zoom in on them, dude. They're like, we are not acknowledging these guys.
Because did they have Perkins and Stephen A. Smith pictures on? Oh, that's funny.
Which Stephen A. Smith under fire. Did you see that? Picture of him playing solitaire during the NBA finals.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
I need some more context. Was it during a commercial break? I need a little more context. Like, was the game being played as he was playing solitaire? I don't know, but yeah, a lot of NBA guys have hit the old retweet or repost on their IG stories of that one. So that's yeah. I'm sure Stephen A will address it. Winner of the weekend, however, those Florida Panthers, man. Whew.
Hey.
That was really impressive. Went to Edmonton and completely dominated game 5. End up winning 5-2. They take a 3-2 series lead in the Stanley Cup final. But the most impressive part of it was, dude, they blew game 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
At home. They were up 3-0.
The ending of that game, the ending of regulation of that game, you should have seen me in my living room. My wife and son were like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "Do you not realize what you just saw? How awesome that was?"
What was it, like 16 seconds to go in the third?
Yeah. I was
Reinhart puts it
for
in
like 20 seconds because it just felt like they were about to get it. And how about that angle?
Oh, my gosh.
You kidding me? Like, you basically only have the width of the puck to sneak that in. That was amazing.
I believe, if my geometry knowledge is still intact, an acute angle.
Very acute.
Very acute. But yeah, but you had that. They get into overtime and then they lose. Like that weird bounce of the puck. Draisaitl somehow ends up through Bobrovsky legs, and they lose game 4 at home when they were up 3-0.
Yeah.
But they're able to regroup and just go dominate game 5 in Edmonton, man. That was impressive. They completely took that crowd out of that game right away.
Yep.
Marchand is ridiculous, dude.
He is. And
how big is he?
I don't
know.
He
can't be that big. He doesn't look big out there, but the man plays enormous.
Yeah. let's see. He is 5'9", 180.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. He's on an absolute tear in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
What, two more goals in game five? I think he's got six now for the series.
Jeez.
First player ever who has now recorded five or more goals for multiple teams in Stanley Cup finals. Only guy ever to do it. And then I saw he's recorded five or more goals in multiple Stanley Cup final series. The only other player to do that in the past 59 years is Mario Lemieux.
Wow.
We're talking rarefied Hall of Fame best players ever air for Brad. Everyone says I've heard Marchand. I don't know how to say the guy's name. I say it both ways. I just go back and forth. But
Yeah,
he's awesome.
he is incredible. 20 points in the postseason in 22 games.
Connor McDavid
It's good.
finally scored.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was that sliver where McDavid scores. Maybe the Oilers have a little life. Made it 3-1 late in the third, and then Reinhart just rips their heart out again and scores shortly after to put it back to 4-1.
Yep.
I just to lose game four on your home ice the way that they did, and to be able to kind of dust yourself off, get off the mat, and go dominate Edmonton in their own building the way that they did, that's legit, man. I mean, that's
It
legit.
felt decisive,
Yes.
you know?
They have I know it's a 3-2 series, but a couple of the wins have just been
Yep.
complete dominations, and then the other ones have been thrillers.
What, 6-1 and five, that one was 6-1, wasn't it?
Yeah, six
Five,
one and 5-2.
yeah, that's substantial. And it feels like they're going to get this thing done in six, but it's why you play the game, right?
Did you see the video of the guy taking off the Oilers jersey as
No,
Marchand scored?
in
Like he
disgust.
scores and he takes off an Oilers jersey and he's got a Panthers jersey underneath it. Are we being bamboozled? Was that like a plant?
I don't know. That's funny.
But it was. Uh, I've seen it everywhere, so I think it's real and not staged.
It's
Who
is
does that? Who does that?
I don't know. Is that one of those like, okay, we're up by enough where it's safe that I can pull the jersey off here and reveal my true colors?
Just wear the jersey, man. People aren't going to assault you in the stands. Just be a reasonable person. You're going to be fine. But yeah, that was crazy. My loser of the weekend. Give me the New York Knicks.
Mm.
What's going on here? How how do you fire your coach? How do you fire Tom Thibodeau after he just took you to the conference finals for the first time in 25 years and you don't have a plan? Ted, it seems like there was no plan in place for James Dolan and Leon Rose. Like, what is happening? Did they think all these teams are just going to let them interview their really good coaches that are under contract? Like, what? That couldn't have been the plan.
I usually like if you've had a bad season, okay, it's just a move we need to change. But when you've had a great season and you're making a move like this, you feel like like something's been in motion, right? And we've got all of these things in place and this is how it's going to go. We're going to transition the team somewhere else. But to not have all of those things already working in place is strange. And maybe they did, and someone's like gave them the okey doke. I don't know, but it's weird.
The strategy has not gone well.
No.
They asked to interview Jason Kidd. Mavs said no. They asked to interview Ime Udoka. Houston Rockets said no. They asked to interview Chris Finch. The Minnesota Timberwolves said no. They asked to interview Quinn Snyder. The Atlanta Hawks said no. They asked to interview Billy Donovan. The Bulls said no. And then they asked to interview Jay Wright, and Jay Wright said no. The latest reports are they're going to meet with former Kings head coach Mike Brown and former Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins. And I expressed my confusion when Memphis fired Taylor Jenkins. I think he's a good coach, but I don't think these are the types of candidates that Knicks fans thought that they were going to be looking at.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Thibodeau got us here. We've got something in store for the next guy that's going to get us over the hump. And then it's like, well, not really. We're just looking for that guy.
And that man is Mike Brown. I It's like, is Taylor Jenkins really going to be the coach of the New York Knicks? You get fired in Memphis, and all of a sudden you're the coach of the Knicks that has a good core. I don't know. I want to know what the Knicks leadership thought was going to happen. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's wild.
It's like
This story will
it's like
hopefully
having a
come out.
buddy. You have a buddy that is always, I'm going to quit my job. Okay, well, you got something else lined up, right? No, haven't even thought about it. What?
Just
What do you
gonna
mean?
see what happens.
Yeah, no, I'll figure it out. No. You need
What
a
about
plan,
your
bud.
family?
Yeah. What about your children?
What about your children? What about the house payment? It'll take care of itself.
I'll figure it out. That's kind of what the Knicks have done.
Which, what a way to live, though, you know?
No, that sounds awful. As a very planned out person, that sounds awful.
Stress free.
Oh my gosh. I have to imagine Knicks fans are starting to freak out a little bit. Like Thibodeau brought him back. They brought him back to relevance.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people are going to pick the Knicks to win the East next year, but we don't know who the coach is going to be.
Well, they were going to pick the Knicks to win the East. I don't
Great
know.
way to put it. It just feels like a disorganized disaster by the New York Knicks. We'll see.
Just when you thought the Knicks were done being the Knicks, not so fast.